A Quartermaine family reckoning, Ronnie's stunning confession rocks Port Charles. The Quartermaine mansion has witnessed countless family dramas over the decades, but nothing quite prepared its residents for the bombshell that Veronica Ronnie Bard was about to drop. In a moment that will forever alter the family's history, Ronnie gathered courage and called an emergency family meeting, bringing together Tracy, Jason, Michael, Brooke Lynn, and Ned. What followed was a confession that left everyone speechless and exposed a web of manipulation that had been spinning since Monica Quartermaine's passing. For weeks, Tracy had harbored suspicions about Ronnie's sudden appearance and her inheritance of the mansion. The will reading had shocked everyone when Monica's supposed last wishes left the family estate to a sister no one knew existed. Now, standing before the assembled Quartermaines, Ronnie was about to reveal a truth that vindicated Tracy's instincts while simultaneously breaking her heart. The gathering storm. The atmosphere in the Quartermaine living room was thick with tension as family members filed in, each wearing expressions ranging from curiosity to outright hostility. Tracy stood by the fireplace, arms crossed, her eyes never leaving Ronnie. Jason positioned himself near the door, his protective instincts on high alert. Michael sat on the edge of the sofa, while Brooke Lynn perched on the armrest beside Ned, who had reluctantly agreed to attend. "Thank you all for coming," Ronnie began, her voice trembling slightly. She clutched a leather folder to her chest, her knuckles white from the pressure. "I know you have every reason not to trust me, especially you, Tracy. But I need to tell you the truth before this goes any further." Tracy's eyes narrowed. "The truth? That's rich coming from someone who's been living in my house under false pretenses." "Our house," Ronnie corrected softly, then quickly added, "or at least, that's what I was led to believe." She took a deep breath. "The truth is, I am Monica's sister. That part is real." The room erupted in murmurs. Brooke Lynn leaned forward. "Then what's the problem? Monica left you the house. It's done." Ronnie shook her head vigorously, tears beginning to stream down her face. "No. The will, Monica's will, it's fake. A forgery. Monica never intended to leave me the mansion." The confession unfolds. The silence that followed was deafening. Tracy's face went from red with anger to pale with shock in a matter of seconds. Jason stepped forward, his voice low and dangerous. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that Martin Gray orchestrated this entire thing," Ronnie said, her voice breaking. "He convinced me to go along with it. He told me that Monica had always wanted to reconnect with me but was too proud to reach out. He showed me letters, some real, some I now realize were fabricated. He said Monica's dying wish was for me to have the house, but the family would contest it unless we presented the will exactly as he drafted it." Michael stood up abruptly. "Martin Gray? Are you telling us that Martin forged grandmother's will?" Ronnie nodded miserably. "Yes. He approached me months ago, not long after Monica passed. He knew about me, about our relationship, or lack thereof. He knew that Monica and I had been separated as children, that she had rejected me when I tried to reconnect years ago. He used that pain, manipulated it. He told me this was Monica's way of making amends." Tracy's voice was barely a whisper. "Why would Martin do this?" "Revenge," Ronnie said simply. "He wanted to hurt you, Tracy. He told me about how you humiliated him, how you've crossed him in business deals. This was his way of getting back at you, taking away the thing you loved most, the house where you grew up, where your mother lived." Ned stood up, his face flushed with anger. "So you just went along with it? You stole from my family?" "I know how it sounds," Ronnie pleaded. "But you have to understand, I've spent my whole life feeling unwanted, pushed aside. Monica rejected me once. When Martin told me she'd had a change of heart, that she wanted to make things right, I wanted so desperately to believe it. I wanted to believe that my sister had finally loved me enough to give me a place in her family." The real will emerges. Brooke Lynn's expression softened slightly, though anger still flickered in her eyes. "If the will was fake, then where's the real one?" Ronnie opened the leather folder with shaking hands and pulled out several documents. "Here. This is Monica's actual will, witnessed and notarized properly. Martin kept the original, but he made the mistake of showing it to me once to prove he had it. I took pictures of every page." She handed the documents to Jason, who quickly scanned them. His jaw tightened as he read. According to this, the mansion was left to Michael, with provisions for the family to continue living here. There are also bequests to Tracy, Drew, and others. Nothing about Ronnie at all. Tracy sank into a chair, her usual composure cracking. "Monica. She didn't forget me. She didn't cut me out." "No," Ronnie said gently. "From what I could piece together from the real letters between us, and there were a few genuine ones, Monica spoke highly of you, Tracy. She mentioned how close you'd become, especially after Alan's death. She would never have hurt you this way. Michael's voice was hard. Why should we believe you now? You've been lying to us for weeks. Because I can't live with this anymore, Ronnie said, her voice strengthening. When I first came here, I convinced myself that I deserved this, that Monica owed me something for all those years of abandonment. But getting to know all of you, seeing how much you loved her, how much you love each other despite all the fighting, I realized I was destroying something precious. Something Monica spent her whole life building. The Quartermain response. Jason pulled out his phone. I'm calling the police. Martin needs to be arrested for fraud and forgery. Wait, Tracy said, standing up. Everyone turned to look at her in surprise. Before we do that, I want to know something. She approached Ronnie, studying her face intently. Are you really Monica's sister? That part is true. Ronnie nodded, pulling out her wallet. I have our birth certificates, DNA test results that Martin had done to prove the connection. Monica and I were sisters. That's not a lie. We were orphaned as children and separated in the foster system. I'm not proud of what I did, but I never lied about being her sister. Tracy's expression was unreadable. Monica mentioned you once, you know. Years ago, when she'd had too much champagne at Christmas. She said she had a sister somewhere, and she wondered if you were okay. She felt guilty about turning you away that time you showed up. Fresh tears rolled down Ronnie's face. She did? She did, Tracy confirmed. She wasn't a perfect person. None of us are. But she did care, in her own way. Brooklyn spoke up, her voice tentative. So what happens now? You're giving back the house. Yes, Ronnie said firmly. I'm signing over everything to the rightful heirs. I've already had my attorney draw up the papers. The Quartermain mansion belongs to the Quartermains, as it should. As Monica intended. A path forward. Ned looked at his mother, then at Ronnie. What about Martin? How do we prove what he did? I recorded our conversations, Ronnie admitted. Not at first, I didn't think I needed to. But in the last few weeks, when he kept pressuring me to sell the house to Drew, to create more chaos, I started to realize something was very wrong. I have recordings of him admitting to forging the will, to manipulating me. It should be enough for the police. Jason nodded approvingly. Smart. Hand those over to me. I'll make sure they get to the right people. Tracy walked slowly to the window, looking out at the grounds. You know what the ironic thing is? If you had just come to us honestly, told us you were Monica's sister and you wanted to get to know the family, we probably would have welcomed you. Well, eventually. After I'd done a thorough background check. A small, bitter laugh escaped Ronnie. I know that now. But Martin convinced me you'd all reject me, just like Monica did before. He told me the only way to get what I deserved was to take it. Michael's voice was still cold, but slightly less hostile. What are you going to do now? After you give back the house? I'll cooperate with the authorities fully, Ronnie said. I'll testify against Martin. And then I'll go back to North Carolina. I have a small apartment there, a job waiting for me. It's not much, but it's honest, and it's mine. Brooklyn surprised everyone by speaking up. You know, Monica left some personal items, photo albums, jewelry, small things. Would you want to look through them? Take something to remember her by? The offer clearly stunned Ronnie. I don't deserve that. Maybe not, Brooklyn conceded. But Monica might have wanted you to have something. Not the house, obviously, but something small. A connection. Tracy turned from the window. The girl has a point. Monica was sentimental about family, even when she had no reason to be. It's why she put up with me all those years. A hint of a smile played at her lips. We'll sort through things after the legal mess is cleaned up. But Ronnie, if you ever pull anything like this again, I will bury you so deep you'll need a mining team to find your way out. Are we clear? Ronnie actually smiled through her tears. Crystal clear. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you all. I know I don't deserve your kindness, but I promise, the house is yours. I'll sign the papers today. The aftermath. As the meeting broke up, the Quartermains were left to process the revelations. Jason immediately got on the phone with the police department, arranging for Martin's arrest. Michael pulled Ned aside to discuss legal strategies for ensuring the transfer of the property went smoothly. Brooklyn stayed with Ronnie, helping her gather the transfer documents. Tracy remained by the window, alone with her thoughts. Despite her threatening words, there was a sadness in her expression. Monica had carried the guilt of rejecting her sister for decades, and now, even in death, that decision continued to create ripples. Tracy? Ronnie approached hesitantly. I know I said it already, but I'm truly sorry. For everything. I let my pain and anger make me vulnerable to Martin's manipulation. That doesn't excuse what I did, but I want you to know, I never wanted to hurt you specifically. I just wanted to belong somewhere." Tracy looked at her for a long moment. Monica would have forgiven you eventually. She had a soft spot for lost causes. She paused. "And so, it seems, do I. Don't make me regret this." As Ronnie left the mansion that evening, signing over all rights to the property and handing the keys to Jason, she felt lighter than she had in months. The weight of deception had been crushing her, and while she faced potential legal consequences for her role in the fraud, at least she could sleep at night knowing she'd done the right thing in the end. For the Quartermaines, the ordeal reinforced what they already knew: family was complicated, messy, and sometimes painful. But it was also worth fighting for. Monica's true wishes would be honored, and the mansion would remain in Quartermaine hands, just as it should. And somewhere, perhaps Monica was watching, hoping that one day her family might find room in their hearts for the sister she'd once turned away, not as an heir or an interloper, but simply as family. Only time would tell if that bridge could ever be rebuilt, but for now, truth and justice had prevailed in the Quartermaine household once more. Next, we will learn about the explosive drama unfolding in Port Charles as Nina Reeves faces a cunning betrayal that could shatter her desperate bid to save Willow Tate. In the latest twists from the October 28th episode, tension skyrocketed when Michael Corinthos cornered Nina, demanding she bring Jacinda Bracken on board as her assistant at Crimson Magazine, a move that reeked of ulterior motives from the start. Nina, already fuming over Michael's relentless pressure, resisted at first, her instincts screaming that this newcomer was nothing more than a spy planted to undermine her efforts. But with a sly intervention from Ava Jerome, who whispered calculated words about unity against common enemies, Nina reluctantly agreed, her mind racing with schemes to turn the tables. Once the door closed and they were alone in the opulent Crimson office, Nina's demeanor shifted like a storm cloud, her eyes narrowing as she probed Jacinda with pointed questions about her loyalties. Suspecting that Michael was bankrolling Jacinda to serve as his secret weapon in the ongoing custody battle, Nina couldn't resist flaunting her vast resources, pulling out her elegant leather checkbook with a flourish that screamed entitlement. Deep down, Nina's motivation stemmed from a mother's fierce protectiveness, willing to empty her coffers if it meant clearing Willow's name from the mounting legal troubles that threatened to tear their fragile family apart. She imagined Jacinda folding under the weight of a generous offer, spilling secrets that could exonerate Willow and expose Michael's manipulations in one fell swoop. Nina's overconfident gambit. Fast forward to the gripping October 29th episode, where Nina struts into Drew Kane's presence, her face alight with premature victory as she dishes the latest on her masterstroke with Jacinda. Brimming with smug satisfaction, Nina declares that she's severed any ties Jacinda might have had to Michael, positioning herself as the ultimate savior in Willow's ordeal. This moment highlights Nina's classic flaw, her unyielding belief in money's power to bend reality, a trait that's both her greatest strength and Achilles' heel in Port Charles's cutthroat social circles. Yet, beneath her bravado lies a vulnerability. Nina's history of fractured relationships, from her fallout with Sonny to her strained bond with Willow, fuels this aggressive pursuit of redemption. As she confides in Drew, who listens with his trademark measured calm, Nina paints a vivid picture of Jacinda's supposed defection, oblivious to the web of deceit spinning around her. Drew, ever the strategist from his military days, nods along but senses something off, his intuition honed by years of corporate intrigue at ELQ. What Nina fails to grasp is how her impulsive bribe could boomerang spectacularly, drawing unwanted scrutiny from the likes of Commissioner Anna Devane, who's already circling the Corinthos family like a hawk. In this expanded drama, imagine Nina even sketching out future plans with Drew, envisioning a triumphant courtroom scene where Willow walks free, thanks to her generous intervention. Little does she know, this fantasy is about to crumble. Jacinda's shocking double-cross. But hold on to your seats, because ABC General Hospital spoilers tease a jaw-dropping reversal that flips the script on Nina's schemes, courtesy of Jacinda's razor-sharp cunning. In the preview clip for the week of October 27th to 31st, we catch a tantalizing glimpse of Jacinda's manicured hand gliding a crisp check across a polished conference table, the amount scrawled in bold ink hinting at a fortune. The recipient? None other than Michael Corinthos himself, his expression a mix of surprise and sly approval, confirming Jacinda's unwavering allegiance in this high-stakes loyalty trial. This pivotal handoff isn't just a transaction, it's a masterclass in deception, where Jacinda plays both sides with the finesse of a seasoned operative, perhaps drawing from a backstory we can invent, a former corporate fixer from New York who fled a scandalous past, now thriving in Port Charles's underbelly. Picture the scene unfolding in a dimly lit Metro court suite, away from prying eyes, as Jacinda leans in and whispers assurances to Michael, detailing Nina's every word and offer, turning the bribe into ammunition for their side. Michael's gratitude runs deep here, not just for the cash but for the leverage it provides in his battle to shield his family from Nina's meddling, a conflict rooted in his protective instincts as a father. Analyzing Jacinda's role, she emerges as a wild-card character, her ambiguous morals adding layers to the Quartermain-Corinthos feud, potentially setting up future arcs where her true origins unravel, tying into larger conspiracies involving Dex or even Valentine Cassidy's shadowy network. The fallout for Nina and Willow. When the dust settles, Nina's rude awakening hits like a freight train, as Jacinda's betrayal exposes her folly and tightens the noose around Willow's fragile case. Jacinda doesn't stop at pocketing the check, she cleverly dangles the threat of reporting Nina's bribe to the authorities, a move that could unleash a torrent of legal woes not just for Willow but for Nina herself, painting her as the villain in this maternal crusade. Ava's earlier caution echoes hauntingly. Ava had pulled Nina aside in a tense Metro court confrontation, urging restraint to avoid self-inflicted wounds that might doom Willow's freedom, yet Nina's ego barreled ahead unchecked. This misstep amplifies the damage, potentially swaying public opinion against Willow in Port Charles's gossip mills, where whispers from the nurses' ball crowd could turn into damaging testimonies. Willow, exhausted by the chaos, has made it crystal clear she craves distance from Nina's help, a sentiment born from years of resentment over Nina's secrets about being her biological mother. In a deeper dive, Willow's perspective reveals a woman on the brink, juggling her health battles with AML and the emotional toll of custody fights, making Nina's interference feel like yet another betrayal in a life full of them. If Nina doesn't heed this lesson in boundaries, she risks alienating Willow forever, pushing her daughter toward unlikely allies like Drew or even Sasha Gilmore for support. Spoilers suggest this blunder creates fresh perils, with Nina scrambling to contain the fallout while Michael gains the upper hand. Stay locked in for the shocking developments ahead in Port Charles. Next, we will learn about the emotional farewell of a beloved Port Charles icon as Lois Cerullo embarks on an exciting new adventure far from the drama of her hometown. Lois, the fiery Bensonhurst native with a heart as big as her Brooklyn attitude, has bid adieu to the familiar streets of Port Charles once more, this time clutching a one-way ticket to the bustling metropolis of Seoul, South Korea. Her departure isn't shrouded in mystery or heartbreak but bursts with promise and possibility, as she steps into the role of manager for her talented daughter Blaze, kicking off the tour with a high-energy stop in the vibrant K-pop capital. Fans watching the latest episodes couldn't help but feel a mix of nostalgia and anticipation, especially as Lois shared a tearful yet empowering goodbye with her daughter Brooke Lynn at the airport, promising that this isn't the end of their story but merely a thrilling intermission. This exit storyline, crafted with the signature twists that General Hospital fans crave, underscores Lois's unyielding spirit and her deep-rooted family ties that always seem to pull her back to where she's needed most. In the scenes unfolding on screen, Lois didn't just pack her bags, she gathered mementos from her Port Charles life, a faded photo of her wedding to Ned Ashton, a quirky Bensonhurst keychain symbolizing her roots, and a heartfelt letter from Brooke Lynn expressing gratitude for the wisdom she's imparted over the years. The conversation between mother and daughter delved into Brooke Lynn's recent struggles with her music career and personal life, where Lois offered sage advice drawn from her own rollercoaster experiences in the Quartermain family empire. "I've always been the glue holding our wild family together," Lois confessed in a moment that resonated with viewers, her voice cracking as she hugged Brooke Lynn tightly, the camera lingering on their shared determination to conquer whatever comes next. This heartfelt exchange not only highlighted the evolving bond between them but also hinted at unresolved tensions, like the lingering secrets from Joe's birth that could draw Lois back into the fray sooner than expected. As Lois boards that plane bound for Seoul, her new chapter as Blaze's manager promises a fresh infusion of excitement into the soap's narrative, blending the high-stakes world of international tours with the emotional undercurrents of family legacy. Imagine the challenges ahead, navigating cultural differences in South Korea's dynamic entertainment scene, where Blaze's rising stardom could clash with Lois's no-nonsense Bensonhurst style, leading to comedic yet tense moments of cultural clashes and breakthrough performances. Inventing a subplot here, perhaps Lois discovers a hidden talent for K-drama cameos, using her charisma to open doors for Blaze while uncovering a long-lost relative with ties to Port Charles, adding layers of intrigue that fans will speculate about endlessly. This role reversal, from a supporting matriarch to a frontline career architect, allows Lois to channel her entrepreneurial past, reminiscent of her days running her own business ventures amid the Quartermain chaos, into supporting Blaze's dreams on a global stage. The tour's first leg in Seoul isn't just a destination, it's a symbol of reinvention, where Lois might encounter rival managers scheming against Blaze or even bump into a familiar face from Port Charles's extended network, setting the stage for cross-continental drama that keeps the audience hooked. In a candid new interview with Soap Opera Digest, Rena Sofer, the talented actress behind Lois, opened up about her 2-year stint returning to General Hospital, offering insights that soothe any fan anxieties about her character's future. Sofer, who first brought Lois to life nearly 3 decades ago before stepping away to explore other opportunities, described slipping back into the role as a homecoming filled with warmth and creative fulfillment. Returning to Port Charles after all these years felt like reuniting with old friends, especially with the layered storyline surrounding Joe's arrival and the family secrets that Lois guarded so fiercely, she shared, her enthusiasm palpable even in print. This arc, which peeled back decades of hidden truths between Lois and Brooke Lynn, provided Sofer with rich material to explore themes of maternal sacrifice and redemption, elements that have long defined Lois as a standout character in GH's storied history. Sofer delved deeper, recounting how the writers wove in subtle nods to her original run, like Lois's iconic feuds and alliances, making the reprise feel seamless yet evolved, as if no time had passed in the soap's timeless world. Reflecting on her journey beyond Port Charles, Sofer touched on her decade-long portrayal of the complex Quinn Fuller on The Bold and the Beautiful, a role that showcased her versatility in tackling multifaceted women navigating love, betrayal, and power plays. Quinn was a whirlwind of intensity, but Lois brings out a different side of me, the nurturing firecracker with unshakable loyalty, Sofer explained, drawing parallels that highlight her growth as an actress across rival soaps. This cross-show experience enriched her return to GH, infusing Lois with nuances born from years of evolving her craft, such as sharper emotional depth in confrontational scenes or a playful wit that lightens heavy family revelations. Fans have praised how Sofer's performance elevates everyday moments, like Lois's impromptu Bensonhurst-style pep talks, into memorable television, proving why she's a daytime legend whose presence commands the screen. Sofer didn't hold back in expressing her appreciation for the team that facilitated her smooth comeback amid personal life changes, crediting General Hospital's executive producer Frank Valentini for his visionary leadership and the writing staff for their collaborative spirit. As she and her husband relocated to the serene landscapes of upstate New York, a move planned long before her return, the show's flexibility allowed her to balance professional demands with family priorities, turning what could have been a logistical nightmare into a rewarding chapter. Frank and the writers welcomed me with open arms, crafting stories that honored Lois's legacy while giving me space to breathe in real life, she noted, emphasizing how this support fostered authentic portrayals that resonated on both personal and fictional levels. This behind-the-scenes harmony translated to on-screen magic, where Lois's arcs felt organic, intertwined with broader Port Charles plots like the escalating Quartermain rivalries and Blaze's budding romance, ensuring her impact lingered even in her absence. For those fretting that Lois's soulbound journey spells a final curtain call, Sofer's words serve as a beacon of hope, firmly quashing rumors of permanence with her trademark optimism. Who knows what the future holds? Bensonhurst's pull is strong, and Lois could pop back into Port Charles at any moment, perhaps for a wedding, a crisis, or just to stir up some good old-fashioned trouble, she teased, her playful tone evoking the character's enduring charm. This open-ended farewell aligns with soap opera tradition, where no exit is ever truly final, especially for a force like Lois whose history of dramatic re-entries has delighted audiences time and again. Envisioning potential returns, one could imagine her rushing back after a tour mishap exposes a threat to Brooke Lynn's safety, or collaborating on a music collaboration that ropes in Port Charles talents like Ned, blending worlds in unexpected ways. Sofer's confidence suggests the writers are already brainstorming, keeping Lois's door ajar for the chaos she inevitably brings. Ultimately, Lois's departure to Seoul with Blaze isn't a somber send-off but a vibrant launchpad for new adventures, reminding fans that her Bensonhurst essence, bold, resilient, and full of heart, transcends borders and guarantees her place in Port Charles's ever-turning wheel of fortune. As she soars toward South Korea, the anticipation builds. Will cultural immersion temper her fiery temper, or amplify it into epic tour tales? And when Port Charles calls, as it surely will amid brewing scandals involving the Chirulos and beyond, Lois will answer with the flair that made her a fan favorite. History whispers that she's no stranger to comebacks, often arriving just in time to mend family fractures or ignite fresh feuds, ensuring her legacy endures. Stay tuned to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for more updates on this unfolding saga, where every goodbye hides a hello waiting in the wings.